All right. Ready?
You're using the right camera now?
Just listen.
Okay. Sorry about last week, guys.
It's all good.
Yeah. So what we have is a cutoff date, and last week and last Friday was the one where everything needed to be out of the House Policy Committee. So as a lobbyist, I literally was being bouncing, like running from one end of the campus to the other to the hearing room, trying to find all the bills that I needed to testify on and being in front of them. And then you could just never schedule it during that week. So, just so you guys know, I didn't get a chance. I don't think I got a chance to tell you this, but your letter, I sent it to the entire House of Representatives. I got amazing responses. Everybody said they really enjoyed reading those, and it gave them some perspective. That's how powerful things like that are in this process. You know, they in those hearings, I don't know if you got a chance to watch any of them. It's a lot of people who are like lobbyists. They don't live what's going on. And so when they can hear from what we call real people, I'm not real, I'm just happy to be here. But when they can hear from real people who are actually impacted by the decisions they're making, it carries a lot of power. And on this one in particular, I can guarantee you that most of those legislators have never talked to anybody like you. Okay? And so hearing your voice in those letters was amazing. So here's where we are right now with the bill. The two House bills, so 2895, which is the House version of the auto decline bill, that one died on the House floor at the first cutoff on February 14th. So the Senate bill, 6160, made it off the Senate floor, went to the House committee, and is actually yesterday moved out of the House Appropriations Committee and is now in House Rules, and hopefully will be pulled to the floor and voted on. So the concern we have right now is the House already didn't move their own version of this bill. Will they move the Senate version of it? And from what I understand is this is what we have, there's something called the Speaker of the House. And the Speaker of the House didn't want to move that bill last time. So we're hoping that he will be willing to move it this time with the Senate version. It's had some amendments. It's called what's called an engrossed second substitute, which means it's been amended a few times. So it's very different from how it was originally. They've taken care of some of the concerns of some of the legislators. The Senate version, so, you know, it was the list of crimes that didn't have to be subject to the auto decline. And so they put rape of a child back then and did some things like that. So the Senate version has slightly different. But at this point, I think it's, if you guys want to kind of gin up your letters again, maybe look back at your old letters and get some new ones to me. This would be a good time to send them to the House of Representatives again, maybe a couple new ones. Or if someone hasn't written yet and wants to, this would be a great time to do that. And I'm going to make sure that they get hand-delivered to the Speaker of the House's office.
So,
any questions?
Did they not get our old letters?
They got your old letters. But we have to remind them again. I can't even think about how much paper goes and email they get for all the bills. I mean, there's thousands of bills. So just kind of take a look. If there's anything new you want to say that you think would be more compelling, please send it to me. Otherwise, I'll take what I have and anything new I get and get it over to his office again. Any questions about? So every I should tell you. It has to be off the House floor by Friday at 5 o'clock.
The session ends on the 1st, right?
Session will end on March 8th. But that last week is generally, so, you know, when a bill passes the Senate or passes the House and goes to the other House, they can get amended in that other House. So when so let's take this one for instance. The Senate passes it over to the House. The House puts an amendment on it and then passes it. It doesn't go to the governor at that point. It has to go back to the Senate, and the Senate has to agree with the House amendment. So you actually have to have another vote on the Senate floor to see if they, what they call concur on the House amendment, or they could say we don't concur, and they send it back to the House, and the House then is told to take their amendment off of it. So this Friday is the cutoff for the House to pass the Senate bill, and then next week, that last few days of session, they spend working on those concurrences and things like that. And if you've got two like bills that are moving, they try to reconcile them together. And then they also have the budget they have to do. So that's kind of that last week is for sort of that cleanup activity. So really, this is the big week for policy. So it just gets kind of interesting. Then after that is the governor. So my hope is that by Friday, 6160 is out. We can clean up any concurrence. And I believe we have one more session next week, right? Don't we have one on the actual signing day? Okay. My hope is to have somebody from the governor's office come and talk to you, because it doesn't end with the legislature. After that, we have to convince the governor to sign it. What was that?
That's correct. You think that? How do you think the governor feels about this bill?
Well, generally, I think he'd be open to it. But I think you still have to meet with the staff, and you need to present your best case, and other people will be presenting their case. He'll look at how it went through the process, how many, did it have a lot of support or did it have a lot of opposition, and then he'll look at all the other probably criminal justice, juvenile justice bills that have passed and measure them all up against each other and then make a decision. And then he has a signing ceremony. I think you should come down and sign it right there in your class.
Hey, so should we address our letters to the governor?
No, Speaker of the House.
Or Speaker of the House? Speaker of the House?
Address him to Speaker of the House and the House of Representatives.
Okay. So, I don't want to sound pessimistic, but you're saying that the House killed their own bill, so why would they want to pass ours? Like, why do you think they would want to? Do you have any, like...
That's the question. That's the question. He may have been waiting. Sometimes the Speaker will wait and see if the Senate actually does pass a bill.
Okay.
And so he may have been waiting. He may have said we don't need to move this bill because the Senate bill moved. So he might have just done that, and that's what we're trying to figure out.
All right.
So I'll give you some updates this week on that and how things are going. And I'll let you know it's in rules right now. So we've got to get it out of rules.
Is rules, that's where they're amending it?
Yeah, rules is where they're amending it. No, rules they don't amend. Sorry, rules is just that. So they amend Ways and Means or Appropriations. Sorry, House Appropriations passed it yesterday. It's in rules. Rules doesn't amend. Rules just decides what goes to the floor and what doesn't. It's like you have this committee of people. It'll be like all you guys in a room, and you get a list of bills, and each of you gets to pick one at a time. And so they have a meeting, and they'll say, everybody, 2 bills, and they actually go around the room, and they'll say, okay, Representative so-and-so, and that representative will say, I move, 6256 that does this. And then sometimes they actually vote on it, but generally what they do is they've agreed to beforehand what can't go.
Okay.
And so they say they move their bills. And so if they only do like 4 or 5 of those meetings, you're only talking about 25 to 30 bills each time going out.
Right.
And so you've got to have somebody who's willing to move it. You got to have somebody who says, I'm going to say, this is the bill. I want to leave the Rules Committee and go to the floor for a vote.
Hey, so is Noelle Frame on the Rules Committee?
No, she's not. But she has friends. So she and I are going to talk today about what happens with this. So I know she's watching it like a hawk, and she's really working to try and see if we can get it out of there.
Right.
So when does it have to be out of Rules Committee by?
It really, anytime between now and Friday, as long as it's also voted on the floor by Friday.
Okay, and then it's going to get on the it'll get on the calendar then?
It gets on the calendar after it goes out of rule.
Okay.
And so it needs to be put on the calendar and voted off the floor by Friday at 6 p.m.
Okay.
So yeah, so this is really, really, really quick. This session has been kind of weird that way. If it were next year, we'd have like 2 weeks of this. You know, we'd have 2 weeks before the cutoff. We only have about 3 days.
Okay.
And I just noticed that the system hasn't even caught up with this bill yet. It still says it's in it still says it's in early learning and human services, and it was voted out of appropriations yesterday. So
They got to update it.
yeah, they got to.
Okay.
So
So do you think it'd be better to have them all write individual letters, like more letters, like quantity versus quality?
Yeah, I'd say more letters is better.
Okay.
More lines.
More letters. Individual letters. Any other questions? Maybe a quick one today.
Any other questions? It works.
So basically, it could die in the rules committee.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of people out there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I haven't counted how many bills are in rules right now, but it's a few hundred.
All right.
Yeah.
So, will you let us know after you talk to Noel Frame?
I
You're
will.
here? Okay.
I'll send an update out to you as soon as I get an update with her going.
Okay.
And we'll find out what's going on, and I'll find it. She'll go find out what's going on, and if the speaker's inclined to move it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Colin. We appreciate it.
So we need to write letters today.
Write letters today.
Today.
My plan will be to deliver them tomorrow. We'll start getting to fill out a rule.
Okay. We'll get that done and sent to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Have a good day.
You
Thank
too.
you.